Skyward gives you a couple of different options on adding grades into the gradebook. When you're within an individual class's gradebook, you can click on a grade by a particular student within an assignment, and it's going to bring up this score entry screen. From here you can add the scores for this assignment. You can mark it as a no count. You can mark it as a missing. The marking it as a missing is very handy for parents, especially if you're giving a student a 0. If they're receiving a 0 because a student hasn't turned it in, check that missing so that way a parent understands that the 0 is because the assignment has not been turned in and not receiving a 0 because they did not get any of the questions right. You'll also see over here to the right there's a mass assign options. If you have an assignment to where the majority of the class receives a 100 and minus a couple of people, you might want to use the mass assign options, assign everyone a 100 and hit apply, and then that way you can go back into the couple students who did not receive a 100 and just edit those individual grades. You can also adjust all scores, so if you decide to curve an assignment by say 10 points, you can adjust all scores by 10. You can remove all scores, you can set all of them to no count. If you have some of them as no count and you want to remove them, you can do a mass remove all no count, or you can do a mass remove missing. There's also a comment section over here to the right to where you can add comments on this screen as well. Another option on adding grades within Skyward, once you're within this gradebook screen, as long as it's within this current 6 weeks, you can come up to quick scoring, and it's going to pull up a screen that will show you all of your students and every single assignment over here to the right. Now you'll notice at this screen you can only enter the individual grades, and you can't add no comment or no count or missing unless you come and double click on that grade, and it's going to pull up a separate box, which at that point it will allow you to give it a code, mark it as no count missing, or give a comment on this screen, and then you can save it. To complete a grade change request for a previous 6 weeks, you need to first make sure that that 6 weeks is showing within your gradebook. So to do that, go up to Display Options, Grade Period Display. We're in the second 6 weeks, but I want to do a grade change for the first 6 weeks, so I'm going to make sure that this first 6 weeks is showing back in my gradebook, and I'm going to hit Save. So from here, now that the first 6 weeks grades are showing, I'm going to come over to the first 6 weeks column, and I'm going to click on the Options button right below it, and I'm going to go to Grade Posting Status for term first 6 weeks. You'll see a button over here on the right that says Request Grade Changes. You'll click on that. You need to give a reason for requesting grade changes, and this is very important, especially for UIL eligibility reasons. So if you have a student who decided to retake a test, whatever the case may be, make sure you put that in this box. It's going to ask, do you want to proceed? You're going to choose yes. It's going to take you to a second screen that looks like it just opened up your gradebook again. You're going to come over here to the grade that needs to be changed. You're going to change that grade from whatever it was before to what it is now. So I would change it to a 100. But for this sake, just so I don't mess up this teacher's gradebook, I'm going to leave it the way it was. You would change it to the new grade and hit Save. Once you are done making the grade changes, you're going to come back up here under First 6 Weeks Options. You're going to go to Grade Posting Status again. And now you'll notice the button on the right, it changes to Complete Grade Changes. And you'll click on that. That's going to send a notification to our registrar to where at that point she can accept the grade changes that were requested. At that point, if you want to come back into your gradebook and change your grade period display back to where it does not show previous terms, you can do that at that time. One of the things that I love about Skyward is all of the report options that it gives you to print. When you're within your gradebook, if you'll come up here to reports, you'll see a whole list of reports that are listed here for you. So let's first look at the gradebook reports. we're going to go to Grade Sheet Report, and it's going to pull up a separate dialog box here for you. Anytime you create your own report template and choose the parameters that you want it to print, depending on what you name it, it's going to be sorted up here at the top. But Skyward's going to automatically give you some predetermined templates down here for you to choose from as well. And it's going to give you pretty much a description of everything that's going to be on that template listed here in the template name. You'll see that these have current term. Some of them will have 10, 12, or 14. Down here at the bottom, you'll notice it will say blank grade sheet. If you're ever curious on exactly what is going to print, select the report. You can come over here to the right and choose View Parameters of Template, and it's going to give you and show you all the options. Now, this is a predetermined template from Skyward, so it's not going to let you change any of these options, but it is going to let you see what is actually being selected to print. So I'm going to click on Back. Just to get an idea, we're going to click on Print. It's going to pull up the print queue. It's going to tell us when it's running, and then when it's completed, we're going to be able to do Display Report. So from here, it's going to show us this is the blank gradebook report that it will print. So I'm going to exit out of that and come back. If you would like to create a new template, if you know the certain parameters that you want your gradebook to report to print, you can choose Add a New Template. We're going to give it a name. From here, this is a template that you're creating, so it's going to let you change all the parameters. You can choose the current term. You can actually change the dates to one specific date to another. You can say, okay, I want it to show the name, but I also want to see the student ID. You can have it show assignments, average scores, lots of different options here that you can go through and set it. You can even have it do a signature line. So if you're wanting this report to print and give to students to take home and have them sign it and return it, you can always say, I want a signature line on it as well. So we're going to hit Save, and now we're going to print so we can see what it's going to look like. The nice thing about reports too is please feel free to be comfortable and play around with it. You're never going to mess anything up. You can click on Display Report, and then it's going to pull up all the information, and you'll see the signature line down there at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to close out of that one. Some other reports that you can do that are under this menu, you can do attendance reports that will give you detail or summary, and again you can change the parameters depending on what you do and don't want to print. You can print out progress reports, so if you want to give a student a progress report showing their assignments and their grades before they're run on the third week of the current 6 weeks, you can do that there. The class information is really cool. You can run a class roster. The student information report gives you tons of information. And again, if you want to take this and you can either clone it, which is going to give you all the same options, but since you've cloned the template and made it your own, you can then change some of those options, or you can add a new template altogether. But I'm going to go ahead and print it just based off of the parameters of this template to show you all the information that it shows. It's going to be very, very detailed. It's going to give you a lot of different information regarding each student. So if you have questions as far as overall scores and stuff like that, this is going to be a great report to show.